Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to tell you that this evening we are going to be interviewing a very special guest brought back from the grave, Mr. Charles Darwin.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very good to be back. Oh, those worms were absolutely treacherous. I don't look like it, luckily.
So, Mr. Darwin, I've heard that your one of the formative experiences of your youth was your voyage on the HMS Beagle. Perhaps you could tell us something about that.
Yes, I was 22 when I first boarded the vessel. Now, the voyage, it spanned across 5 years, which truly only 18 were spent at sea. The rest was on land, all across the world, but we spent most of the time in South America.
I see. I believe you meant 18 months.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry,
Okay.
the worms got in my brain.
I understand there was a particular problem you had on the boat.
Oh, I was extremely seasick.
That must have been very difficult. Let's see. Can you describe what your theory of evolution was and how that worked?
All right. So, the theory of evolution is that within a population, there is bound to be a certain degree of variation, good or bad, but any advantage that this individual can have will increase its chances of survival. Therefore, it will be more successful at reproduction, and its genes will be passed on to its offspring.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. Mr. Darwin, I'm wondering if I could ask you whether during this voyage, the voyage of the Beagle, were there any particular observations you made of natural specimens that began to make you think about a theory of evolution?
Well, yes, we observed quite the spectacular fossils of giant land sloths, and as well we found fossils of armadillos the size of cows.
My gosh.
I know. So, while these specimens, they were impressive, yes, we also found these birds that had quite the variation in beaks across the different islands. And so I collected these species, these specimens, these individuals, and once I brought them back to England, I figured out they were all finches. And so it got the cogs in my mind spinning, and I thought, what could make it so that these birds were the same species, but were so different? But then I began to think, and I had come to the realization that each of these islands supported different types of foods, and these beaks were what was best suited to eat each of those foods.
I see.
Indeed.
So would you consider this to be an example of natural selection?
I would.
I see. Very interesting. And what about you were telling me about the fossil of the sloth. How had that changed? How was that fossil different than the modern sloth?
Well, it was quite large, you see.
I see. So that gave you some idea that the species were changing.
Indeed.
Over time.
Considering we haven't found massive sloths yet.
Yeah. Well, right. Okay, very good. Mr. Darwin, I wondered if you could tell me, was there anything that you encountered during your voyage on the Beagle that really made a very strong impression on you?
Well, there were these caterpillars that we had found that just, they had hundreds, tens, at least 20 eggs on them. And I had wondered what could do such a thing to an innocent little bug, such as a caterpillar. And upon my observations, I had found that the culprit of such a sin, of such a horrendous action, was a wasp. It was a parasitic wasp who would lay eggs on these caterpillars. And it made me question the existence of a benevolent entity in charge of this creation.
Well, I'm sorry about that. That seems to have affected you quite seriously.
Indubitably.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry, the caterpillars are just very upsetting.
well, I appreciate that. I'm sorry that we bring up a subject that's painful for you. One thing I would be curious to know, Mr. Darwin, is how did the society in your time, how did they react to your theories?
Well, just about how you can imagine. The religious men were saying I was blasphemous. They were saying I would corrupt the youth, which I have no intention of doing. And the scientists of my time, they thought my ideas were rather decent. They had been in agreement, of the most part.
Did you ever hear anything from Queen Victoria on the subject of evolution?
Now, Queen Victoria I had not known very well personally, to my memory. She was an interesting lass. No, I had not heard anything.
Okay, that's interesting, Mr. Darwin. One question I would like to know is, what at the end of your life, what things were you working on, or what were your interests?
Well, I found quite a fascination with carnivorous plants, and I had finished writing my book, The Formation of Vegetable Mold through the Creation of Worms, through the Action of Worms, excuse me.
That's very interesting. Oh, one moment. There seems to be somebody at the door. If you'll excuse me, I'll be back.
Yes, very well.
Excuse me. I heard my name. Yes, I heard my name, and I heard you were asking about my attitude about the theory of evolution. But, as a monarch, I have to be very careful with these controversial subjects. I am very much in favor of science, but, we have to also adhere to the standards of morality, and evolution is a little bit touchy. But, with science, one thing that my interest has always been was in photography. And,
Truly.
I'm very interested in the fact that in 1872, you published a book called The Expression of Emotions in Man and Animals. And I understand that was one of the first books with published printed photographs.
It is something I am quite proud about, actually.
Well,
tell me.
Yes, although with photography, it has its good sides and bad sides. I once had commissioned a family portrait to be made. And do you know that the images of the children were lovely, but I could not bear the look of my face. And I scratched my own face out of that negative so that photograph could never be printed. Did you ever have anything like that happen?
Well, of course, Queen Victoria, Your Highness. I feel as if anyone were to ever escape such a fate, they were blessed in some form. Well, yes, when I was 46. It's been a long time since I was 46.
Well, I understand, of course.
It's 2025 now. Good grief. Well, my photograph. I had the thought that if this was the expression on my face, was a blessing that I even had one friend.
Really? Your face was that terrible in the photograph?
Look.
Oh, well, we share something then. I guess we both had bad experiences with photography.
Indeed. Oh well, so be the times.
Yes, I'm so sorry for that things worked out that way.
Well, it's been nice meeting you, Queen Victoria.
And a pleasure to meet you, Charles.